That were very sudden. The bike's just run out of fuel. Right then, I think there's two things potentially that we as bikers need to be wary of when we're out and about on our bikes. Firstly is getting a puncture, and I think the second one is potentially running out of fuel. Now the first issue, the first problem, if you get a puncture, especially if you've got tubeless tyres, it's not too much of an issue. If you've got a kit with you, you can get it fixed relatively quickly, and to be fair, even if you've got a tube tyre, if you've got spare tubes, levers and a little bit of know-how, then you can also obviously get that fixed, but it'll obviously just take you a little bit longer. I'll just get past these horses here. Yeah, so if you've got a tubed tyre, obviously it'll take you a little bit longer. So you've got to be wary of those things obviously while you're out and about, and obviously there's things you can do to avoid them. Now this bike, the Husqvarna 701, it doesn't have a fuel gauge on it. I can understand why it doesn't have one on it, because obviously the manufacturers have potentially tried to keep, I think, the dashboard as clean and sterile as possible, but obviously it has its disadvantages in that respect, in the fact that you've got to keep an eye on the fuel, and it's a little bit of a guessing game sometimes, depending on what type of riding you're doing, whether it's sort of motorway riding, maybe just being a little bit fruity with the throttle on some of the country lanes, that type of thing. And I've had this bike now almost 2 years, 3 months away, yeah, so I've had it 21 months now, and I've done a few trips on it. I've got a rough idea what it does to a tank, but I'm not entirely sure. So the test today, which I'm going to do, is I'm going to take the bike out for a good spin, and I'm going to put it to the test, and I'm going to deliberately run out of fuel on it. I've got some spare cans of fuel with me, which I got from Moscow Moto. I'll show you those in a minute. But yeah, that's the idea today, just to go out, run the bike until it's completely dry, splutters to a halt, and then let's see what sort of mileage I get out of it. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want to do a few decent trips on this year. The North Coast 500, I'm going down to Cornwall in May, and Devon, Somerset, that sort of neck of the woods, so it would be handy just to know exactly how far I can push it. So if that's something that's going to interest you folks, stay tuned, keep watching, and let's see what happens. Well, but in the meanwhile, I'm going to take you through some quite nice little scenic areas up in the Yorkshire Dales, and also around oh god, I forgot the name of the place now. I'll put it on the screen, but anyway, hopefully you'll enjoy the video. So keep watching folks, and let's see what happens. But firstly, I shall just pull in here. I can get parked up, and I'll show you what I've got rigged up for the bike in regards of reserve fueling. Right, so I'm back with you folks. So I've remembered where I'm going now. I'm going to the Forest of Bowland. I have been before. It's a beautiful place, and there are many scenic areas within the Forest of Bowland which are very attractive, and if you've never been, very well worth a visit. So right, I was basically saying that what I wanted to do is try and simulate what I might be carrying on the bike if I was going on a tour. So I've got the Moscow Moto Reckless 80 system at the moment. I haven't got too much weight in it, admittedly. I've only got the tripod in one side, camcorder, camera, batteries, and a few little knickknacks, just to sort of give it a bit of weight so it's not flapping around, although it is quite well strapped down. And these are the systems which I've got. So these are the spare fuel canisters. So I've got two of those. Branded as MSR, but I bought them from Moscow Moto. I think they're about 25 quid or something of that nature, and they hold about what does it say, 887 millilitres, so just under a litre each. That's just to give it a little bit of room for expansion, obviously, if temperature varies. So yeah, the plan is, obviously, as I said, take the bike out. Well, firstly I'm going to go fill it up, obviously, zero the mileage, I'll show you that, and then we're going to go for a ride, and I'm going to run it until it's obviously completely out of fuel, sputters to a halt, and then we'll have a look and see how many miles we've done in total, and then hopefully these two babies will get me out of trouble and get me back fired up so I can get myself to a garage and then get safely back home. So if that's something that's going to interest you, keep watching and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Okay, catch up with you soon. It's getting a bit busy here now. Not surprised. It's quite warm today, probably the best day we've had this year. This is my first ride on any bike in 2024. It's dry, all the rock salt's being washed away by all the torrential rain and storms that we've had. So yeah, there'll probably be quite a few bikers out today taking advantage of the beautiful weather. So just trying out a new camera mount as well. I used to have it just mounted on the handlebars, but I got that extension stem from Amazon, only about 7 quid. It's not too bad. It's made of light alloy rather than plastic, so it should be a little bit more durable. And rather than clamping it onto the handlebars, I've clamped it onto the bracket from the bark busters handguards. Seems quite sturdy, and obviously it's just better because it's shooting more sort of in a straight line at me rather than pointing upwards, which then it can underexpose because obviously it's getting a lot of the sky in. Obviously it's bouncing around a little bit, but these GoPros, they do have reasonable image stabilization in, so I'll have a look at that when I get home and see how good it is, see whether it's usable footage or not. Right, let's crack on. So first of all, I need to go and find a fuel station, fill up, zero my mileage, and then let's let the experiment begin. So I'll come back to you when I get towards a garage. It should be good fun, this. Should be quite interesting. Be interesting to see just exactly what mileage I do get out of it. I've got a ballpark figure in my head, but only time will tell. I mean, I know a lot of it's obviously depending on how you ride and so forth like that, but I'm going to try and ride, well, I say I'm going to try and ride within the law. I am going to ride within the law, but you know, swift overtakes, that sort of stuff, it can all influence your fuel consumption. Right, back with you very shortly. Right, we just arrived in Bingley, so I'm turning right here, and I'm pretty sure there's a Jet petrol station or something on the right hand side. That'll do nicely, get tanked up there. Hopefully these lights won't take too long to change. I used to have some fun and games working here, dealing with public order incidents when I was back in the job. A real hotspot it was for fights. Those days are thankfully long gone. Right, is this petrol station still here? Not a Jet though, it's a BP station. Fear not, makes no difference. I've no idea how much fuel's in the bike at the moment, but anyway, as I said, fill it up. Make sure I don't put diesel in it, that wouldn't do, would it? Put the cheap stuff in. Okay. I'm sure when I level the bike off, that'll level that out nicely. It might look a bit overfill at the moment, but it'll be right. Right, hopefully you can see that. So let's just scroll through. Odometer, trip 1, 185. So just zero that. So that's on 0. Right, let the experiment begin. So from here I'm just going to get onto the A650, which goes from Bingley out towards Keighley, Skipton, and then from the other side of Skipton out on the A65, as I said, out towards the Forest of Bowland via Sladeburn. Yeah, Sladeburn, which is where Salterfell is, the off-road route that I've done a few times on various bikes. So yeah, so this ride's going to encompass roads like this, so you know, some of which are 20 miles an hour, some of which are 30 miles an hour, dual carriageways 60 miles an hour, well I say dual carriageways 70 miles an hour, single carriageways but national speed limit 60 miles an hour, country lanes where we might have to knock the speed down quite a bit because it could be a bit slippery with leaves and so forth in various places. So it's hopefully going to be a bit of everything speed wise. It's just going to be like normal riding, like you might normally experience when you're on a tour and you've got to deal with obstacles and hazards that would slow you down. So that's the idea anyway behind this. It's obviously not going to be 100% accurate, but it'll certainly give me a ballpark figure of where I am and what I can realistically excuse me, get out of the bike, especially if I'm touring some areas like up in the north of Scotland where there are certain stretches which I've done before where you haven't necessarily got easy access or an abundance of access to petrol stations. So enough waffling, let's crack on. We're about to join the dual carriageway. I shall come back here when I'm off the dual carriageway and I'm turning left off the A65 to go out towards the Forest of Bowland. So I'll come back with you in a blink of an eye. So just coming into Long Preston now. So this is the road that we take a left off. Can't remember the road number, but I shall shout it out when I get there. The B6478, that's the one. The B6478. So this road's a little bit like this for about the next 8 miles, and then we drop down into Sladeburn, and I'll probably stop there, have a look at the mileage and give you an update on that. So I shall come back to you very, very shortly, unless of course something mega interesting happens in the meanwhile. Right, we're just dropping down into Sladeburn, a little village of Sladeburn. A few cars there, can't see any bikes yet in the car park, but there probably will be some. There usually are. I shall stop here, have a drink, have a toilet break, but more importantly we'll have a look at the mileage, see where we are. In fact, there is somebody there on a bike. But yes, we'll have a look at the mileage, see how that's getting on. Where can we go? We shall go here. Scroll through. Okay, so far I've only done 32.9 miles, so nothing yet. That's not too bad. Obviously I'm going to get a lot more than that out of it. Right, I'm back with you in a tick. Like I say, just go get a drink. Right, that feels better. Let's make a move. Into the forest of Bowland we go. So this is the way I come when I'm going down to do Salterfell, the off-road route. But instead of turning the right up here towards that route, I take a left here towards the Trough of Bowland, or bear left towards the Trough of Bowland. But yeah, Sladeburn here, lovely little place. I bet this is a beautiful little village to live in, or a town. Is it a town? Who knows? It's probably a town. There's quite a few houses here, but I bet it's a lovely place to live. Nice and quiet, very private. They've got their own church there. And the smell of the country. You can smell the manure there. Should have smelly vision, shouldn't we? Okay, scratch and sniff. Right, what are we coming into now? Obviously another little village of some sort. What does that say? Dunsop Bridge. Yep, Dunsop Bridge. So we're still heading towards the Trough of Bowland. So what is there at Dunsop Bridge? Farm, some alpacas, bit of woodland. Quite a lot of water in that stream there. It's obviously flooded, judging by how much water's on the road. Puddle Ducks tea rooms. So that's it. That's Dunsop Bridge. So that is a little village, isn't it? Bridle way up there. Let's see what we've got here at this junction. We have a Trough of Bowland, take a right. Yeah, let's do that. There was a sign there, wasn't there? Inch Perfect Trials. Isn't that something to do with trail riding in Joro? I think it is, you know, isn't it? I might have to look into that. I can't understand why sometimes when you get bikers and other people in the flash cars doing routes like this, they have to try and do them as fast as they can. You know, I mean, for a start off, they're a little bit technical of some of these routes. You've got to be mindful of what other traffic's on the road, and that's just not vehicular traffic. You know, we're talking about livestock as well, and pedestrians. But you've also got such lovely scenery. Why do you want to whiz past it? Enjoy it. That's my sentiments on it anyway. I mean, look at that there, a little house, a couple of sheep in the garden. Now whether they're their sheep or they're just passing through, you never know, do you? But a lot of people don't object to sheep coming in the garden because they mow the grass for them. They don't need to buy a lawnmower. This is a nice little trail, this. I think when you come around here, I think it just opens up onto some vast moorland. If it does, I shall just get a little bit of footage. And then turn the camera off briefly until we come to another town or village. End of the day, the main purpose of this video is obviously to test the mileage. The beautiful scenery is a bit of an added bonus, but I can't film all of it because there'll be hours of it. But you'll get a general gist for it, hopefully. It's certainly worth a visit. I mean, even today, I know it's January, I think it's January the 28th is today, Sunday. So yeah, I know it's a Sunday, the weather's reasonable, there's a few people out and about on the road, bikers and so forth, but it's not particularly too busy. But during Easter, spring, summer, it can get quite manic on here. You get a lot of tourists, obviously. Let this biker come past if he wants to go. Give way to oncoming traffic. So, City of Lancashire over Rysdale. Alright, I shall come back to you in due course, see what's next on this route. Right folks, so I've just stopped at some services on the M6 after completing the Forest of Bowland, Trough of Bowland. So let's have a look at the miles now. So still not done too many, 73.5, but I'm getting there. So we're going to carry on now and head up towards the Devil's Bridge place. Yeah, what's it called? Kirby Longsdale. That's the place I'm thinking of. Make sure my sat nav's on properly. Right, bit of motorway riding now. Out we go. Right, I've got about I think probably about 8 or 9 miles or something of motorway to do, and then I come off, and then I think, am I back on the A65 then? Possibly so, back towards Devil's Bridge. So I'll catch up with you when I get off the motorway. So yeah, so this is the A65 as I thought it was. This corner here, it's notoriously called Cow Shit Corner by local police, simply because of all the cow shit. It's as simple as that. Don't get any more complicated than that. You get a lot of cows there coming out from that farm on the right hand side, and by all accounts dropping a load of cow poo all over the road. So if you ever need that as a landmark, and you need to ring police, it'll be Cumbria Police, won't it? Just refer to that as Cow Shit Corner, and apparently all the traffic officers know where exactly you'll mean, which is a bit bizarre. Right, 2 or 3 miles now outside Kirby Longsdale. So this is Devil's Bridge, Kirby Longsdale, just coming into it. Usually quite a high police presence here. Not always at this time of the year, admittedly, but there might be a few buzzing around today, since the weather's reasonable, and obviously there's a few bikers out. Passed quite a few today, probably the best part of about 100 throughout the day at various locations. Fancy car. Didn't quite catch what it was, other than expensive looking. So yeah, so you can go down there to your left, toilets and everything down there, and you get a lot of cars parked down there. But next left turn in, which is where the butty van is, that area there on a weekend, it's dedicated parking for motorcyclists. See, there's a police van just over there, North Yorkshire Bobbies. But yeah, this is dedicated for bikers on a weekend. Yeah, very busy. Right, shall get parked up, see if I can get a little bit of a butty. This will do nicely. And let's see what mileage we're up to now. Come on, turn it off. Yeah, 84.1 miles, so still got a fair bit to do, I would suspect. Right, I'll come back to you shortly. Right, off we go. Leaving Devil's Bridge. Next stop, heading towards Skipton. I bet it's busy there today. I don't know if they have a market on a Sunday. But we shall find out when we get there. Excuse me. Just had a nice sandwich, veggie burger, very tasty it was. Right, I shall crack on and I shall catch up with you all when we get to Skipton, and then we'll do another mileage check there. Oh, right, that's interesting. Right, so my fuel reserve lights just come on, and anybody else with a 701 might be able to help me with this. As soon as your fuel light comes on, you display on the right hand side of your dashboard, it changes from whatever setting it was on. So it's now saying F 1.7. Does that mean, I presume that means that you've done 1.7, 1.8 miles so far on reserve. even though it doesn't always start on 0, it seems to suddenly just jump, you know, to a particular figure. I'm assuming that's what it is anyway, so I'll keep an eye on that. I'm not quite sure what mileage it was when it switched over onto reserve, but yeah, this is interesting, this now. So 2.2 miles, 2.3 miles. Let's see how many miles I get on reserve then before the engine runs dry. So I was going to go into Skipton, but I did a bit of a strange loop from Devil's Bridge towards Keighley, and now I'm heading back from Keighley, and I'm just going to take a right here and go into Silsden, if anybody knows that. So yeah, Silsden's a nice little town. Some decent restaurants, some pubs and things like that. And I think many years ago, Gordon Ramsay, on his Hell's Kitchens, he came here and he did a stint in one of the restaurants and gave it a right slating, so I'm led to believe. I'm sure the information's out there on the old internet, but yeah, that's what people told me, that he came and the proprietor of the restaurant was not particularly too happy about the feedback that they received from Mr. Ramsay. But that's why he goes into these restaurants, isn't it? Shake them up a bit. But I mean, that was donkeys years ago. I bet that were 20 years ago. So I'm going to follow this road through Silsden and then out onto, oh, what road will it be? I'm not sure what the road number is actually, but it's out towards Addingham anyway. I shall update you when I get to it. Gets a bit bleak here in the winter. Snow drifts coming over the road, but that's only to be expected, isn't it? Right, so at the end of this road there's a beautiful little town of Addingham, so I'll catch up with you again when I get down there. So take a right here. I've got the Craven Heifer pub right in front of us. Craven Heifer, yeah, Craven Heifer it'll be, won't it? 20-mile-an-hour speed limit, a bit like Wales. I wonder why people are moaning about the 20-mile-an-hour limit in Wales. Do people agree with that or disagree with it? I know certainly when I go up to Scotland, around places like Dunkeld, Blairgowrie and certain necks of the woods around there, there's a lot of speed limits down there that are being reduced to 20 through some of the little villages. It's been like that for years. I'm not aware of any issues it's caused, but you know, I'm here to be educated. The Fleece here on the left, that's a nice pub stroke restaurant. I've had a meal in there before, very nice indeed, very classy. So that was Addingham. Oh, I'm having to squint here, sun's that bright. Right, I'll catch up with you again now when I get into Ilkley, which is the next bit I'm going to head towards here. You basically just follow this road and then there's a dual carriageway, take a left and then that takes you straight into Ilkley. So I shall head there and give you a quick insight into what's there. And there's Betty's Tea Rooms there. Who's heard of Betty's Tea Rooms? Right, back with you at Ilkley. And here we are, guys. Welcome to Ilkley, twinned with, I forgot what I said now, Coutances in France. I'll have to look back at the video. I can't recall what it said. I think it's something like that anyway. There is even a little bit of an off-road route. Oh God, we've got another 20 mile an hour limit here. This is new. It never used to be 20. Oh, let's have a look at the reserve. 10.1 miles now we've done on the reserve. That's still nothing much, is it? Yeah, I might just have a quick drive or ride through Ilkley here, and then there is definitely an off-road section that you can go to Riddlesden area from Ilkley. I've done it before. I'll see if I can find it. Might as well incorporate a little bit of off-roading into my video, mightn't I? I think I might have found it. The left up here. Let's put it into mode 2. Why didn't that go into mode 2? Oh, we're in it now. So yeah, this first bit's been tarmacked. But then it goes a bit bumpy. Hopefully they won't have tarmacked the entire thing. I don't think they will have done. So I'm not going to go daft on here. What gear am I in? Third. But yeah, a little bit of off-roading. And this is a legal road. I think it's just classed as an unclassified road rather than a legal byway. Morning. It's very bright up here. But it's got some beautiful views. I never thought I'd be doing a bit of off-roading today. But we'll go down there. Looks a bit deep. That was deep. Right, what are we up to now on the reserve? 12.6. Struggle off the bike. My reserve light's gone off, but I think that's just because I'm pointing downhill at this angle that I am doing. I'm sure it'll come back on again. So yeah, this road's going to drop me off down towards Riddlesden, or certainly the top end of Riddlesden. But then I think what I will do is take a left. Right, let's see if that reserve light comes on again. In fact, what we'll do is, when we get to the end of this track, I'll have a look at my distance so far. We'll see where we are. So yeah, that's a bit bizarre. My fuel light, reserve light, hasn't come back on. Sure it will do. But anyway, we shall have a look. Oh, it has just come on now. Right. So I'll just pull over here anyway. I'll pull over at this junction. This'll do. Let's have a look and see what sort of mileage I'm on now. Right, hopefully you can see that. Let me just move that cable out of the way. So trip 157.8 miles. So and I think obviously about 10 or so of that is on reserve. Right, we'll just have to turn that ignition off. I think you've got to turn the ignition off in order to get that indicator back on for your reserve. I think so anyway. We shall find out. But yeah, 157.8 miles so far. It's not too bad. So take a left here towards Menston. Menston being not too far from Otley. Right, I'll come back to you shortly. So just heading out towards Bowland now, having come off that track, gone through the top edge of sort of Stockbridge, East Morton area. Yeah, did East Morton, and then I'm heading, as I said, out towards Bowland now. I just noticed as well, I didn't realise this before, but every time you turn the engine off of this bike and then fire it back up again, it zeroes the tripometer, it would appear, for the reserve tank. So that's a bit, assuming I'm reading that right, that seems a bit daft, that. Because like now I might think, oh, I've only done 2.2 miles on reserve, but in actual fact I could have done nearly 20. I'll have to have a look at the instruction manual, double check on that, but that's how I'm reading it. It says F, presumably fuel, 2.4 miles. I've got my fuel warning light on. But yeah, prior to me turning the engine off, obviously that number was well into double figures. But ultimately what's important, I suppose, obviously, is your actual number of miles. How many miles can you do on a tank of fuel? It is nice to obviously know how many you get roughly before you switch over, or it automatically switches over onto the reserve. But yeah, your total amount of miles is what's the important number, isn't it? Oh well. Anyway, we shall keep taping, keep recording. Showing me age there, keep taping. Yep, keep recording. And let's see what happens. Back with you when we get a bit closer to Bowland. Oh, we've got a serious bit of flooding here. I'll take the narrowest point. There. You never know whether the road's all broken up underneath it, do you? And you're going to go down the bloody sinkhole. So yes, I was going to go towards Bowland, but I've turned off and I'm now heading towards Ilkley, back towards Ilkley, but on a different route. This is going to take you over the moors, what is commonly referred to as Ilkley Moor Bar Tat, and there'll be the Cow and Calf rocks there. And providing I don't run out of petrol before I get there, I may just stop there and have a drink. She'll give this wagon a bit of space. A lot of shit on the road there. Not actual shit, just mud. Hypothetical shit. So this is all Ilkley Moor, Cow and Calf pub hotel on the right hand side there, and we've got the Cow and Calf rocks on the left, and I'm just going to pull in here. Looks quite busy. And then we'll have a look at the tripometer, see what sort of miles we've done. This is as good a place as any to park up. So yeah, so like now the reserve is saying 8.2 miles, but obviously I've done a lot more than that. Well, let's have a look at the actual mileage. Oh, I just passed it there, didn't I? Go back around. There we go. So we've now done 166.7. Yeah, 166.7. So we're getting to that sort of twitchy area now where it could run out. So we'll have to wait and see. Right, I'm going to stop here, have a quick hot drink to warm myself up, and I'll come back to you shortly. Right, I'm back with you. That was a bit disappointing. It's all closed up. Just make sure my microphone's plugged in, which it is. Yeah, cafe's closed, toilets are closed. Wonder if that's another victim of COVID. Right, so I mentioned earlier, didn't I? Cow and Calf, Ilkley Moor by Tats, dropping down into Ilkley, which I'm going to do here. So we came into Ilkley from the other side before, and then used that off-road track, went over there. This is a different route, obviously. Where can I go from here? I think I'll go from here out towards Otley. Sounds like a plan. So this is the top road from Ilkley. I came in on the road that runs below it, parallel to it beforehand. Betty's Tea Room's down here somewhere. I'll see if I can see it. I might have already passed it. Oh no, it's here. I shall point it out to you. There it is. Betty's Cafe Tea Rooms, established in 1919. Very famous. So I'm going to go down here, take a right, back onto the main road, back out of Ilkley, and as I said, out towards Otley. So I shall catch up with you either when I run out of fuel or when I'm getting closer towards Otley. It's strangely reassuring when you think, I know I'm going to run out of fuel, but I don't really care because I've got some spare fuel with me. But if you didn't have any spare fuel with you and you were this close to running out, you could end up fretting a bit, can't you, and panicking, getting all anxious. But no, just, it is what it is. I'll be fine, absolutely fine, don't you worry. Right, straight on here, obviously. Leeds A660, oops, and Harrogate. I'll tell you what I'll do, instead of going straight on here, I think towards Tadcaster, I'll take a left towards Harrogate. It's a nice little scenic road, and then I can always come back on that and then go towards Tadcaster if I need to use some more miles up. So left here over the river wharf. Oh, that were very sudden. The bike's just run out of fuel. Good, not much warning there. So it's starting, but it's dying out to get into it. No, that is dead. Right then, let's see how many miles we've done. Go through those. So including reserve, it's done 177.4 miles. So a little bit less than I thought it would, but that's not too bad. Anyway, we'll have a chat about that shortly. But yeah, 177.4. Right, let me go fill some, put some fuel in this thing from those canisters. I'll just get off the road a tad. So this is where I keep them. They're just strapped in, so they're not going to fall out or anything like that. Just loop them through. And this auxiliary pouch that Moscow Motor do, it's designed specifically for things like this. You can put water bottles in it or fuel canisters, that type of thing. Just give that a dust off because I don't want all that crap going into the fuel tank, do I? Shit, the wind just caught that. Let me do it that way. Maybe I need a funnel. It's the first time I've ever had to do anything like this. I might get some more of these and I can put 2 more in, unless it's not a good idea to put them on the side where the fuel where the exhaust is. A little bit more careful on that one. Haven't spilt any yet. But yeah, it does stop very suddenly, doesn't it? There was no sort of warning that it was spluttering or anything like that. It was like 1 minute it's going, the next minute it's gone. So 177.4 miles. Sweet as a nut. Let's get in here, get some fuel in properly. Don't want to be running out. So I know I could have just pushed the bike there and done that, but I wanted to just see how easy it was to use those fuel canisters. Obviously a little bit breezy, might need a funnel, but I'll fill it up here. I'll certainly put a gallon in or something like that, so that'll get me home. And I'll come back to you in a moment. Right then, I'm back with you. I'm back up on Bowland. So this is where I started the video, right at the very beginning. So I apologise if this video has been a bit long. Hopefully you managed to stick with it. But I think it's been an interesting experiment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just find somewhere quiet, out of the wind, to get parked up, and then we'll just have a little bit of a chat about it. I'll let you know my thoughts on what we've just accomplished or established. That could be quite busy on there, cars parking. I shall drop it down here. So this is where I filmed before. I'm sure this will be spot on. Right, welcome back. So I'm going to wrap the video up there. So I hope you've enjoyed what I've done so far. It's certainly been a little bit of an education for me, trying to discover how many miles I can get out of the tank. The tank is 13 litres or 13.1 litres, something like that. I'm pretty sure it's 13, but either way, it's neither here nor there, is it? It's not a scientific test, obviously. You can't rely on it. And the roads I've been doing, they've been a mixture of motorway, a little bit of off-road, 20 mile an hour, 30 mile an hour, 40 mile an hour, 50, 60, a wide array of all sorts of things, stuck in traffic, that type of thing. So you've got to cater for all that. I'm mildly confident that if I was travelling on the motorway at a sensible speed, I could probably get nearly 200 miles perhaps out of a tank of fuel. Might be a bit of a gamble, but again, as long as you've got one of these little tanks with you or something similar. As I said, I got this from Moscow Moto, but it's branded as MSR. As long as you've got something like that, you'll be absolutely fine. You don't get that fuel anxiety, worried about what happens if you run out of fuel. A couple of these, you're looking at what, nearly 2 litres, certainly about 1.8, 1.9 litres. It's going to get you out of trouble if you start fretting about running out of fuel like that. What I did. What did catch me off guard a little bit, I mean, 1 minute the bike was literally running fine, no issues at all, and then it literally just died in the blink of an eye. So I thought there might be a little bit of warning. I thought it might cough and splutter a little bit, but it didn't. It literally just, it's working, it's not working, it's dead. So that's something to bear in mind, I suppose. I presume that's normal. If you've got a 701, 690, that type of thing, and you've run out of fuel, is that what's happened on your bike? Drop us a comment down below, that's always helpful. Likewise, if you own a bike like this, and you're getting a lot less to the tank than I am, or a lot more, again, leave a comment down below. Perhaps collectively we can try and work out why that might be the case. But if you think what I've got there, 177 to the tank, that's including the reserve obviously, if you think that's pretty normal for the type of riding that you've seen in this video, then fair enough. You know, I mean, it's never going to compete obviously with the likes of your GS's and your big adventure bikes, but it's not designed to do. And I'll be honest with you, once you've done 100 miles or 150 miles or something like that on a bike like this, it's good to get off anyway and stretch your legs, and you can do that obviously while you're filling the bike up, and it just gives you that natural break, and then you can crack on and do another 150 or 170 miles. So anyway, there probably is a lot more I want to mention at the end of this. I can't remember everything. I've got a memory like a sieve. But either way, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope some of you, if not all of you, have found it mildly interesting. If you have, drop us a comment, give us a thumbs up, and maybe subscribe if you think you're going to like this sort of stuff or these type of videos that I do. I've got a couple of bikes, the 701 and the 350, as I'm sure you know, and I do a little bit of off-roading. I'm no expert by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there who aren't either. So, you know, I might appeal to that sort of field of people, that group of people, and we can maybe just practice together and share our experiences. So anyway, I'm waffling as always. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, do as I've suggested, comment, like, subscribe, that type of thing, and I shall catch up with you on my next video, which will probably be in a couple of weeks' time. All right, folks, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll catch up with you later.